good morning, depending on your time zone. This is Chigoze Ndibo here again in Core Web TV. There are interesting and exciting, of course, issues to discuss this moment, of course, here with you. Trust you're getting on well. It is weekend, and we thank God for sparing our life. Of course, there have been several news of which we are to analyze here. Very brief. The first news here is that the Federal Road Safety Corps has vacated the southeastern states. No more checkpoints, of course. They have started disbanding all the checkpoints mounted by the Federal Road Safety Corps or Commission, whichever you may want to describe them or call them. This is quite interesting. If the Federal Road Safety Corps could take such very difficult decision, it means there is, of course, some inclinations to that. And we are to discuss that, of course, in details. What would have informed the position of the Federal Road Safety Corps to disband all their checkpoints, no more patrol team in the eastern parts? According to the claim, they said for eastern part, but I know it is the eastern part of Nigeria, or so to say, the defunct Biafran region, as Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister of the Biafra Republic government in exile, has defined uh, the territory of the Biafran region. And as such, following this position or statement issued by the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic government in exile of most recent, ordering the entire military operatives or architecture within the Biafran territory to vacate, of course, the region and dismantle all the roadblocks that he said are enforcing disappearance of the Biafran people. And as such, there have been several reports of kidnapping, robbery, and abduction, of course, for people to pay ransom very close to the military borders. But to no avail, the perpetrators of this heinous crime are at large. The security operatives have not apprehended or prosecuted any one of them. So that gave room for the conspiracy theory. People begin to see that the military or the security operatives are accomplices to whatever insecurity rocking the entire eastern region, of course, is concerned. But uh, to greater extent, the military, not just in the eastern parts, but in the northern region, out of these regions so that the life of their to protect and safeguard their own people or personals. And some, of course, have some reservations because we can't continue to live in denial of the realities staring at us. The truth, according to, I listened to one video clip where the minister of the FCT, Wike, the former governor of Rivers State, said there is perceived injustice in the land. Nobody can deny the reality, which means he is also aware of the perceived injustice against the Easterners, and as such, it is not something that could be denied by anyone. It's quite unfortunate that these developments are cropping up, but the reality remains, where do we go from here? Who will now take control of the roads, the federal and state roads? Who will now man them? And of course, possibly there could be an alternative, but the truth is that because of the forceful disappearance of the indigenous people of Biafra, supposedly headed by the some security operatives who have taken the advantage of the restiveness within those regions to exploit, to extort, and of course, make life more difficult and miserable for the road users. With this development, well, we can see what transpires next. Now, the second one we must discuss today is the land-breaking achievements of the Biafra Republic government in exile, which have seen to the recognition of the Biafra Republic government in exile as an entity that could be declared an independent state by the United States Department of Justice, which have officially recognized the Biafra Republic government in exile as a, the Biafran independence approaches. You know, the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic has made public pronouncement that on the 2nd of December 2024, he is going to declare the restoration declaration of Biafra will take place after a due process or a rigorous process culminating into the declaration. Of course, the ongoing self-referendum voting has been on, has been sustained. The second phase, of course, has rolled out, and people are complying massively for that uh, singular purpose so that they cannot be left out of whatever preparation gears towards that, because my people do say that onye iberibe adịghị ama mgbe eji eke nkwụ ụkwa dara na ezinna ya. You know, that means a proverb, and it means a lot, of course, to an Igbo man, that onye iberibe adịghị ama mgbe ekere nkwụ ụkwa dara na benna ya. And having said that, people are celebrating and rejoicing that this is no longer a child's play. It has gone beyond the threshold of what could be curtailed or what could be hampered. Just as some persons or group of Northern Coalition or the Fulanese extortion are seeking, of course, the indefinite or continued detention of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra. They have been overtaken by events as now the United States Department for Justice have recognized and registered Biafra for independence. What that means, the presence of the Nigerian military within the eastern or defined Biafran territory will begin to diminish and eventually uh, will be evacuated. It's just a matter of time. That's just an explanation of whatever is happening. Of course, it will lead to that because after the declaration, according to Simon Epa, possibly there will be a shift, of course, a dynamic shift in order of events. And whatever happens will remain a history. And we all anticipate such development. Whatever be the case, we are going to, of course, continue to analyze and get people abreast with the current realities. These developments, let me know what is your take regarding this. But if you're playing on the roles of this eastern, southeastern region, of course, you might not be seeing the patrol teams and the checkpoints mounted by the Federal Road Safety uh, Corps or commissions or personnel. That is a very uh, serious development. Whatever be the case, of course, we will continue to watch. Another important issue we have to discuss now, just as we are saying that the forceful disappearance of Biafrans or the indigenous people within the Biafran territory by the supposed banditry and other syndicates, crime or criminal syndicates have remained unabated. Now, the police has not been able to, or the security operatives have not been able to apprehend the perpetrators of this heinous crime. To make it worse, Nigeria is said to be a secular state, but since 1999, according to the report from the Sahara reporters, it is revealed that over 300 persons has been killed as a result of the acclaimed blasphemy of their religion, where the Nigerian masses or Nigerian citizens could lose their life under the disguise of blasphemy. And where is the instrumentality of the state that has the right, the constitutional obligation of duty to protect the life of the citizens? How come that the religious beliefs or sentiments now overrides the rights of the government to protect the life of the citizens? Over 300 persons has been killed, and yet it appears that nothing is happening. The perpetrators of this heinous crime, those who are fueling and supporting this criminality against the state, against the constitution of Nigeria, seems to have been justified by the silence of the federal government and the security operatives. Remember of most recent, about a few years now, Deborah, who was stoned to death only by Okay, if you can hear me now, say hi. If you can hear me very clearly, just say hi so that we can forge ahead. If you can hear me now, just say hi so that we can move forward. Can you hear me? Are we good to go? Are we good to go? Okay, thank you. Yes, with this development, it is quite pathetic and very unfortunate that humanity continue to be destroyed, the very essence of our existence. Okay, it's okay. Okay, you can hear me very loud and clear. So, what can we do to stop this? We are in a secular state, and people has the right to take the life of other citizens on the basis of religious professions. Which means nobody has equal rights before the law. So somebody, a Muslim, can take the life of any other person, while the reverse is not the case. No, there must be, of course, an urgent need to address this, but it appears it's coming late. And for those who don't believe in the Nigerian struggle, of course, are doing whatever possible within their reach to get out of this configuration, and of course to chart a way forward for themselves where people's rights and the rights to live can be protected. Let me know, of course, what are your reactions regarding the development of the United States Department of Justice recognizing and validating the Biafra Republic government in exile. Prior to this time, some, even within the eastern region, never believed Simon Ekpa could do anything, could move, of course, any inch in pushing this Biafran ideology to such extent. But it has proven to be the black sheep. He has demonstrated that he matches his actions with his words with his actions. And today is, of course, something, a phenomenon that should be underscored, that people should take time to study the Prime Minister of the Biafran Republic, Mazi Simon Ekpa. Sometimes he looks very innocent, of course, quiet, but very rugged, very brutal. Of course, we have seen that in the most recent weeks and or perhaps months for the Chief of Army Staffs and the Chief of Defense Staff coming to give the state, a report on assessment of events, sports assessment of events, came to affirm that truly Simon Ekpa is a mayhem, is the most wanted enemy that should be crossed. And possibly they have seen, of course, that this move will go beyond what they can control. And today we have seen the realities coming through, and of course the laudable impacts or achievements he has made on this regard. And some are saying that he's just wasting his time, just as he rolled the first phase of the self-referendum voting. People say that this is just a dead end, but unfortunately they have been shocked that it is a great success for the Biafrans, and raises some level of worry and concern to the Nigerian government. And as such, it appears that there is little or nothing they could do at this time but to seek any possible means of getting Simon Ekpa down at all costs. It doesn't matter what that can cost them. They are willing, of course, even though Hanezes has placed some bounty on Mazi Simon, but I don't know today what will be their position regarding this. Of course, development. Will they write to the United States Department of Justice to withdraw the recognition or to delist the Biafra Republic government in exile from recognizing the Biafra Republic government in exile as an entity that is set to be birthed, the independence state of Biafra. It is quite interesting, and we are all, of course, watching eagerly to know what that and where that will lead, the next step and line of actions on both sides. Well, in the couple of days or weeks, we also know what is the position of the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as the court have set aside or have recommended out of court settlement. Let's know what is the line of action, the next line of action by the legal counsels to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Of course, possibly we may be having some briefing in that regard, or press release in that regard. But whatever happens, we will continue to intimate and discuss these very important issues. You can see that there is a shift in the order of events. It is no longer business as usual. Things are taking shapes. There are minuses and pluses going here and there. There are shakings here and there. There are movements, very sweet movements on both sides. You see the Nigerian government trying to see if he could, of course, redeem the battered image of the public reputation of the Nigerian state by altering the former national anthem, because according to the report, that the president believes that that will reunite the Nigerian ethnic nationalities or tribes and give them sense of patriotism and commitment to the Nigerian cause. But it has been proven otherwise, even by a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Shehu Sani, who said that, Mr. President, you got it wrong. Changing the national anthem or discarding the former one and adopting or recycling the old one that was discarded cannot unite the nation. That a nation is united on the principles of justice, equity, and fairness. And where there is no equity, where there is no fairness, where there is no rule of law, where there is no equality before the law, where people, of course, perceive some level of injustice, such nation or states can't survive. It's just a matter of time, because people will definitely lose confidence in such system and will not commit to the development of such system, because the system has already systematically rejected them or whatever input they could make. And this, of course, is a wake-up call for the Tinubu's administration. But unfortunately, Tinubu might have a better plan for Nigeria, might have a better prospect, but it is a dead end, because no matter what you do, no matter how much energy you spend in trying to wake up a dead horse, it will be a fruitless effort. It will be a useless effort. It is be a wasted resources and time, because you can't wake a dead horse. Nigerian state or situation as it is today could be regarded as a dead horse. In terms of economy, the economy of Nigeria is moribund, is in comatose. Where, you know how much is a bag of rice today? where common basic necessities of life is beyond the reach of the masses of this country, except for the political class of few privileged people who possibly could have their way or whatever access to funds. The population of this country is even affecting the rich because there is no longer middle class. Is that you are poor or you are extremely poor or tilting towards extremity in poverty, or you are extremely rich. So there is no balance in the system, and unfortunately this has been sustained. The gap has been widened by the insensitivity and lack of people friendly policies initiated by this government. And you don't have to blame anybody. See, people are scampering, running here and there, trying to see how they could survive this. It's an issue and a matter of survival. And unfortunately, that is the state we are in today. Sorry for the network glitches, but that is the truth. So Nigeria is in the state. In fact, saying to pray for Nigeria, well, you can still pray for Nigeria. Pray for the leaders to understand the times and seasons we're in. It is no longer a time to live in denial. It is no longer a time to waste every second. It's very important in making the informed decisions, getting things right, and no delay, because any delay, of course, could cause not just a particular region a priceless pain, but the entire region of this country, just as we are seeing today, that the ISWAP have overrun several communities, villages, local governments in the north. And most parts of the northern region, just like the northwest, of course, are having some disturbances, restiveness, which might, of course, trigger another unrest within the region, escalating the already weakened security architecture. The president and guard commander of the Federal Republic of Nigeria seems to have lost or run out of idea of how to get out of this woods. Everybody's just patching, and watching what's next. Yes, the procurement of 50 fighter jets can't solve the problem. You know, most of the former jets has been brought down. That is economic waste. And that can't hide the truth. That can stop the truth. If that money that was used to procure those fighter jets was used to improve the allowances of the combatant men, possibly that would have been better for them and their families, but that is not the case. But taking that with the use of creation, that away Western worlds, no wonder they adopt social security. Social security to cushion the effect of the economic mishaps so that more people will not be tempted or encouraged to go into crime and criminality. But when there is no social security, even the subsidy was removed and they are still paying subsidy, lives of people becoming horrible and more horrified. I mean, it is natural instinct. There's that natural tendency for some, as a way of survival, to go into crime, to go into criminality as a way of survival. So what the Western world understood, that the only way to stop people going into crime is to give them some level of succor, where people who are not working or perhaps who lost their jobs could have some stipends as a way of upkeep for their families and their personal, of course, self. But that is not feasible, it's not possible within the Nigerian state. And it's quite unfortunate that this is happening within the Nigerian state. So more people will be forced into criminality, or, of course, when they see or lured into the acts of criminality, ritual, killings, kidnapping, organ harvesting, and what have you, of course, prostituting, and the moral decadence have fast eroded of the societal morals, of course, virtues, moral virtues, because of the economic mishaps. So the way to solve the problem is this is multi-plural, multifaceted, and hydra-headed, of course, problem, multiple organ failures. So you can't solve these problems by using a very primitive or unconventional way, thinking you will succeed. It is not possible. You are rather digging the grave, widening and expanding, of course, the chances of a total collapse. And that is quite unfortunate, because if humanity or human capital, there's no investment, deliberate investment, and conscious attempts by the ruling class or the government to invest on her citizens, you can't get what you don't have, what you have not sown. You can't reap it. So, but the reverse is the case. And that is where Nigerian state is. Unfortunately, the privileged few within the corridor of power can cut away with the entire resources of the state for their selfish, of course, gratifications, as against the interests of the generality or the masses of those states or region. See? And unfortunately, the gullible ones whose future has been stolen from them, whose antecedents is that of a pitiable and unfortunate, miserable life, could also be singing the praises of those who have kept them in captivity, those who have ruined their future, those who have cutted away with their entire destiny and prosperity, leaving them, of course, under the shackles of oppression, chained poverty, weaponizing poverty as a way of keeping them perpetually under servitude. They will also come out to be shouting and singing their praises. Once a morsel of bread is thrown to them, and then, but of course, they have mastered how to gain the Nigerian, the gullible ones, as the case is. Because teach me how to fish. I might possibly not just fish for myself. I might possibly end up getting a fish pond and also extending to others and making life more dignified, more meaningful, not just for the immediate consumption or gratifications. You can also build a future. The worst thing that can happen to any man is when you don't have a future. When you're not prepared for the future, of course, disaster looms. That's why an average Igbo man is people that should be celebrated. How do I mean? A typical Igbo man who is into trading can envisage the possibility of raising another younger Igbo man from the village. Take him through the trade, teach him the trade, strike an agreement. After 4 years or thereabout, I will settle you. Just serve me and I'll teach you the do's and don'ts guiding this business. After that, what? He will be settled and he starts that entrepreneurship spirit, that ingenuity. I've not seen any other tribe that master that. But it has been working down history. Even I was told then that that's what you call the communal farmland or palm or cocoa farm that is owned by the community. Once it's been harvested, they will use it to train some children, indigent children who are brainy. The community will gather, okay, let's use the proceeds of this to train such people. It must not come from you see, these are the spirits that builds the society. But how many people today are doing it? Unfortunately, even the Igbos have reneged from such virtues. So what am I saying? That is why the survival of the Eastern region is more predominantly on self-actualization. Communities, individuals. Why? Because the presence of the federal government is not even, is little or even not felt. So it is a self-effort by the people, by the doggedness, resilience of the people to move forward. That's why it appears that something is happening somehow. But unfortunately, the enemies of the people will want to frustrate such efforts so that to keep people under perpetual bondage and make them so vulnerable, of course, at their own dictate, to come and beg for whatever they want and to lord it over to them. Of course, this informed the position of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who came up and said, no, we must address these abnormalities. We must right the wrongs. Life is not meant to run this way indefinitely. While we, of course, travel wide, acquire knowledge and information is to better the society and, of course, improve of human, the standard of living and dignity of the human system. But unfortunately, he was misunderstood by those who do not care for the masses, who only want to protect their political dynasty and, of course, expand their empire as much as they can, of course, even when that means of the detriment to the detriment of the entire masses. He doesn't care. They don't care. Just see what Dr. Oti is doing in Abia State. I have visited Abia State repeatedly. Abia State was once a very horrible place to be. Very horrible. There is no road. Very dirty, stinking, and smelling. Unfortunately, it happens to be the commercial hub, the industrial hub of the West African states. The level of productivity there, if being encouraged and highness supported by the government, even China will come there and borrow some technology. But unfortunately, there is no light, no road. Everywhere, everybody is abandoned. They say, we still have serving governors who are now, most of them, in the Senate. You begin to ask, what have they done? If by merit, they don't deserve to be there. But they have looted the treasure of the state, and now they want to go to the federal to continue the looting. Under 1 year, the level of transformation that have taken place in Abia State, just under 1 year, surpass the last 28 years of other governors, or 30, 32 years of other governors who have governed the state. So what does that tell you? Leadership is character. Leadership is political will. Leadership is commitment to the welfare of the citizens. When you are driven by that passion to serve, of course, it's not a rocket science. You will use the resources, harness the common resources or the scarce resources of the states. And people will say, you are doing something. These are people who have been there. They never did anything. The little or whatever is coming to the state is being shared even before it gets to the states. So these are more reasons. Of course, Dr. Oti have proven some governors wrong. They should cover their face perpetually in shame. That you are there for 8 years, for 4 years, 8 years, and you never did anything meaningful to the masses. But under 12 months, someone has surpassed the collective achievement of the past 32 years. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That the political class are very wicked, most of them, except the few of the likes of Oti, of course, who have demonstrated that humanity could be savage and things must be, the wrongs must be right, of course, for humanity to be preserved. And to such persons or people, of course, I say, may the good Lord continue to keep you for humanity. Some are just existing. In fact, it would have been better that they never existed. They are a cost to humanity, the very essence of humanity. Given opportunity and privileges, that some come under these guys, buying keke, buying this, and don't know that they are just paving their way. When they get there, of course, they show their real color. But that is quite unfortunate. This and many other anomalies inform the reason why people are fed up, have lost confidence in them, and of course are very excited when the circumstantial leaders emerge and they have tested the people, they have evaluated them, they have weighed them and understood that these are different crop of persons who are committed to the welfare and, of course, the goods of all. The likes of Simon Ekpa, Mazen the Kanu, of course, could be trusted for such leadership prowess and defined objective and well focused to achieve the true independence of their own people, which, as it stands now, remains a mirage within the Nigerian states. Within the Nigerian states, Benue, that happens to be the food baskets of the nation today, are living in penury. People are dying of hunger. And this have continued, of course, have become a continual or recurrent decimal, and the perpetrators, the government cannot address those restiveness, cannot hold the perpetrators of those heinous crimes to justice. Then what are you saying indirectly? You have failed in your primary responsibility to protect life and the property of the citizens, and by such position, you have lost your legitimacy over such people. Because there can't be governments except the life and property of the citizens are being preserved and protected by the instruments of the state, but that is not the case. So for us to see the recognition by the United States Department of Justice, it shows a welcome development and a laudable one for those who have been agitating, sustaining the quest, of course, for the restoration of the Biafran state. It is their inalienable rights as enshrined by the United Nations Human and Fundamental People's Charter on the fundamental right and the right to self-determination. You can't stop them because they are determined, and there's no amount of persuasion, there's no amount of fears or whatever you think that could save them. Of most recent, the Senate plenaries are now canvassing for regional government. They are now willing to sacrifice their selfish interests to entrench the regional government in a way of disguising, of course, to distract some people and, of course, continue the grip over the resources of this country at their own interests and at the detriment of all and sundry. In Nigeria, we do have the textile industries. How many of them are surviving today? More multinationals are leaving the shores of Nigeria. You begin to ask why. Of course, the reasons are not far-fetched. You can't survive in such a hostile environment where you are almost choking. Your business, your entity is choking, and you can't continue with that. And that informs the positions of those who are living. And the cost of running, of course, production and whatever is unbearable and unfortunate. Those inflation is something else, of course, to discuss, because whatever interest or gain you make could possibly disappear. The value of whatever you have may have been eroded. It's quite unfortunate, and that is the reality staring at us today. Having stressed these important issues, I want to, of course, draw a curtain for today's brief analysis until we come your way in subsequent editions. My parting words is: no responsible government should allow people to take law into their hands by, under the disguise of blasphemy, taking the life of their fellow citizens who have the equal right before the law. But that is quite unfortunate. We are not seeing the equal rights and the rights to religious affiliations and the right to express your religious beliefs and professions without being killed. But that is not the case today, especially more pronounced in the northern region. It's quite unfortunate. It would have been better if the population of the northern region goes after the politicians that have stolen their future, that have stolen everything about them, and have kept them in the state of motionless misery. For centuries, it would take them to recover from the damage that had been done by these few selfish, greedy persons who also prefers to be in the same religion with them, but taking undue advantage of them to rob them their future, their life, that of their prosperity, and impoverish them forever. If they have reason to question the rationale behind the enormous allocations from the Federation account coming to the North, and yet the North are crying, lamenting, and accepting to be the most backwards and retrogressive region within the Nigeria. While they have goats, a region that have goats, a region that have, is it lithium or California, and other costly mineral resources and poverty, because the political class and their collaborators, the Western collaborators, are using the money. You can imagine that people that are mining gold within the territorial integrity of Nigerian state, they say that they are illegal, that you don't know their whereabouts. You don't know that they are mining gold. They are mining California. And they will be moving tons of those products on a daily basis, per hour, making trillions, billions of dollars, making the region unsafe so that they could strive and they could start every other person who will want to, of course, know whatever they are doing. It's quite unfortunate. It is time to ask questions. The northern youths are not asking questions. They have been deceived, wallowing in abject deception, delusion. And that is quite unfortunate for them. I think it's high time they realize that their future is being burnt up, their future is being destroyed, and begin to hold those guys accountable if they want to redeem their future. But that is quite unfortunate. The difference, there are some difference, of course, when it comes to the southern people. Some are more enlightened. Some are, of course, questions some rationales and the reasons why things should go this way, and possibly trying to hold the government accountable, though the system might not permit such to strive or to be brought to justice by those erring politicians who have looted the treasury of the public at the expense of the masses. Thank you once again for being part of this program. We hope, of course, this is an interesting moment for all of us. Kindly hit the like buttons. It does not cost anything to do so. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, it's important you subscribe so that you could also turn the notification buttons to get our videos once it's been uploaded, so that we can have more interesting interactions as the case may be. Also, you can drop your comments via the comment section. Thank you once again for being part of this program today. Remain blessed and have a fantastic weekend with your loved ones and family. I remain Chigos Ndebo, the host anchor, wishing you all the best. Bye for now.